Welcome everyone to Lemon Live at 5, the Don Lemon Show. Literally, I kid you not, we're about to start on time. And as soon as Andy was about to hit the button, we got two breaking news stories, okay? Two breaking news stories. Both of them relate to the Trump administration and Donald Trump. And one has to do with the media. The other one has to do with the parade, okay? We're still working on some details, but again, this has not been reported anywhere else. Not the one I'm going to tell you about first, but the other one that we're still working to get the details, and we're gathering things, okay? I've just spoken to sources, okay? Now, first of all, let's give you the one that is broken. This is not us breaking it, but this is just broke. We are going to break the other story. Okay, so welcome to Lemon Live at 5. So everybody, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like, and subscribe and all that, because it does affect the algorithm and more people become aware of our conversation when you do that. Let me make sure I get the TikTokers in, because they are not going to like it. Okay, if we don't do it, I'm going to just do the same thing from this morning. Okay, so anyways, so here we go. I want to know how you guys feel about this. We've been telling you about the media. We've been telling you need to support independent media. We've been telling you about all the corporations and all of that and what's happening with corporate media, okay? Because it is a big deal. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to TikTok. Welcome Instagram. Welcome Facebook, okay? Call all your friends and get ready and tell them, because we have some big breaking news. Okay, so first of all, Terry Moran. Do you guys remember Terry Moran? And producers, if you can find the interview with Terry Moran and Donald Trump with the MS-13 or whatever. Terry Moran, who used to be with Nightline for quite a long time. I've been watching Terry Moran for years. Terry Moran is out at ABC News, okay? Out at ABC News. I believe a storied big career, and that has been happening to a lot of people. I'm telling you the dangers now of trying to be a journalist in this environment and trying to be a real journalist in this environment. There is danger to it, okay? Terry Moran out at ABC following social media clash with Trump official. Now, I want you guys to think about all of the shit that Donald Trump posts, how the hateful things. And then I'm going to show you one of the things that he posted. One of the things that he posted recently, and we're going to play it for you. There's audio there, okay? And so they are getting rid of Terry Moran, or deciding not to renew his contract, because Terry Moran wrote something about Stephen Miller. Now, as we know, Stephen Miller is a dubious character, to say the least. Is of questionable ideas and ideals and integrity, and a conspiracy theorist. Let's just say reportedly, allegedly. Stephen Miller is the man behind some of the most outlandish policy beliefs and changes in the Trump administration. Let's go through this report. Now, do we have the tweet from Terry Moran, which I think, here's my thing about Terry Moran, which I said about this tweet. Terry Moran, not everything needs to be tweeted. And my life is, I believe, better since now that I'm off Twitter. Okay, you guys know how I feel. I said that when I left, I said that I thought it was toxic and all of that. So I want to let's put up the tweet from Terry Moran. Okay, Terry Moran said something about, I believe he called him, like he said that whatchamacallit was a hater, right? That Stephen Miller was a hater. And then, so the thing about Stephen Miller, here it is. This is from Terry Moran. Let's read it. The thing about Stephen Miller is not that he is the brains behind Trumpism. Yes, he is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpist movement and translates them into policy. But that's not what's interesting about Miller. It's not brains, it's bile. Miller is a man who is richly endowed with the capacity for hatred. He is a world-class hater. You can see this just by looking at him, because you can see this, that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. Trump is a world-class hater, but his hatred only a means to an end, and that end has his own glorification. That end is his own glorification. Go back to the bottom, please, of that. His own glorification. That is his spiritual nourishment. Now, again, I said I don't believe anything should be tweeted, but that was that. Come on. This is someone. This is, you know, I don't really get what's so weird about it. They could have suspended him, or they could have given him a warning. But is he wrong? No, I don't think he's wrong. Should he have tweeted it? I'm not so sure about that. Is this a free country? Yes. Did he put it on a site that believes, that says that is a free speech absolutist site? People on this site and in the Trump administration say that call people snowflakes somehow, but they don't do it with certain people. If that's only for them, that it matters. Okay. So now Terry Moran is out. Now, just to refresh your memory, this is Terry Moran's interview, part of it, where he's talking about MS-13. And I believe that Donald Trump and the administration, I believe they were pissed at him because he embarrassed the president. He didn't do it on purpose. Donald Trump embarrassed himself when he's going, look, MS-13 is on his fingers. And Terry was like, no, not really. It is. They put that up there because those are the symbols. Yada, yada, yada. That's what it's supposed to mean, those symbols, Mr. President. Donald Trump should not get that. No, MS-13, it's on his fingers. No, and then, so anyways, here it is. Watch.
He wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir. I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but they're there
in
now.
your picture.
Terry.
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't
sir.
you just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. And I'm trying to get more information on the breaking news, but that is really something and embarrassing for the president. And I believe this is my opinion, that at the White House, someone went back and said, okay, Mr. President, perhaps we were wrong, or either we gave you the wrong information, but it doesn't actually say that. And I don't know if they ever really responded to the, what Terry did, except to now they have the biggest response because Terry is losing his job, and maybe the Trump folks had something to do with it. I want to bring on now Corbin Bullis. He is from the Daily Beast, and this story just breaking now. Corbin, do you know anything about this? They're deciding not to renew his contract. What is ABC News saying?
Hey, Don. Thanks for having me on. So ABC is saying that they were already at the end of their agreement with Terry, and they've just decided not to renew. So in layman's terms, they had already reached under their contract that was already coming up, and they decided, you know what, after this incident, and after this post, we've decided to just not move forward with him. They hold their reporters to the highest standards of objectivity, fairness, and professionalism, and they remain committed to delivering straightforward, trusted journalism. Now, to break that down, ABC has been through more of a ringer than any of the other news outlets since Trump won the election. They settled with Donald Trump in December for $16 million over a defamation lawsuit that some legal experts said that ABC could have won. They've been playing a bit of a tepid game with the president. You had a few weeks ago Bob Iger telling some of the hosts of The View to tone down their political rhetoric.
That was your reporting, right?
That was my reporting here at the Daily Beast. And now you're having one of their senior national correspondent who landed the first network interview with Donald Trump since he came back into office in January, coming out and calling Donald Trump and his deputy chief of staff world-class haters. That doesn't put ABC News in a great position. However, because of that, even if he may be saying things that can be agreed upon by some, they're having to play a type of game where they're trying to do hard-hitting objective journalism while also not wanting to anger a president who's been known to be vindictive toward press he dislikes.
How much of an influence do you think that the Trump administration played in this? Because, look, a lot of journalistic organizations are between a rock and a hard place right now. To me, I don't think that tweet was egregious enough to fire someone who has been working for you, a loyal employee for such a long time. If you want to suspend him, if you want to give him a warning, if you want to, say publicly, we don't agree with this, whatever, but to fire someone or not to renew their contract over something like this, especially when you know what type of a person Donald Trump is, and also Stephen Miller, let's just be honest.
Well, ABC suspended Terry on Sunday after he sent out the tweet. Still, that didn't fully appease some of the Trump administration officials. You had Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, came out and called it unhinged and unacceptable. You had Stephen Miller say that this is just how journalists are now. They're presenting themselves as journalists when they really aren't. And even Caroline Leavitt said that they reached out to ABC. ABC said that they were going to handle it. So we know that there have been conversations between ABC News and the Trump administration. Now, to have it lead to a firing without less than a week since the suspension, and it just reflects the like you said, the rock and the hard place that news organizations are in trying to do journalism, objective journalism that will anger people, especially people in power, but also having the space to do that without being sued by the president, without being blasted as fake news, which we've seen the White House loving to do with many news outlets, even those that they engage with.
Corbin, you've been doing some digging behind the scenes at ABC News. You know the environment there. You know the politics. You know what's going on, not just at ABC News. We know what's happening at CBS and all the news organizations.
Mm-hmm.
As you're having these conversations, what is it like? What are you hearing about these networks? Because they are, we know that obviously linear television, huge power still, right? Still very relevant, but losing viewers because people are either as cable news, they are not subscribing, they're going to digital or what have you. So what is it? Take us behind the scenes of these news organizations and why they're making such decisions like this one today.
Well, they're fighting two battles. They're fighting the battle of the death of linear television, where they're trying to keep their head barely above water to stay alive, to stay solvent. And that's the business element of it all. They're also battling the perception of being fake news, as Donald Trump loves to call them. We heard Donald Trump call Terry Moran that in that interview right there. So having to fight one battle is hard. Having to fight two can almost seem insurmountable. And when I'm talking to these news organizations, they want to do their job. They want to be able to produce hard, heavy-hitting journalism that holds power to account. But they're facing these pressures from people who want to protect their business interests. We're seeing what's happening at CBS. Sherry Redstone wants to sell Paramount to the media company Skydance, and therefore the work that CBS News is producing on 60 Minutes is angering her. There have been multiple reports of her wanting to get a sense of what Trump stories that they were doing and trying to block Trump stories. There was a hard time for people at 60 Minutes just to keep the show on the air. And now we're seeing with ABC News, they were able to put Trump off in December by choosing to settle with him. They were able to land that network interview, yet you have people on an opinion show like The View lambasting him every day. You have ABC. It was ABC News that broke the story that Trump was accepting a Qatari jet. So when Donald Trump is having to engage with these reporters every day and then sees one of them come out and call him a world-class hater, that makes it very hard for the news organization to say that we are objective and fair, or to present themselves as objective and fair to this administration when they're now having to defend their reporter doing this.
Is there any news organization that is immune to this, that's not feeling this pressure? Perhaps Fox News, or are they as well?
Well, Fox News has mostly been protected by, has mostly been regarded by the Trump administration. You see Caroline Levitt on there a number of times. You see a number of Trump administration officials. Trump loves to talk to hosts like Sean Hannity. He loves to speak to hosts like Maria Bartiromo. But even Fox has been criticized by Donald Trump since he came into office. You have Donald Trump having Rupert Murdoch in the Oval Office, saying that he hopes he could be a little bit nicer with some of his other media properties, like the Wall Street Journal. But even with news organizations that have tried to appease Donald Trump by choosing to settle with him or not engage in some reporting, they're still being targeted by organizations like or agencies like the Federal Communications Organization. The FCC's chairman Brendan Carr has launched investigations into ABC News, into NBC, into CBS. And what he's not chosen to do is renew investigations into the Fox broadcast company that had stemmed prior to him because of Fox News reporting on the 2020 election. So utilizing these levers of government to go after enemies has been a constant theme throughout the Trump administration. And almost no news organization has really been spared. The cable networks are a bit isolated because they're in a separate category. The government doesn't control those airwaves. But what we see from ABC and NBC and CBS is that no matter what you do to try and appease him, the Trump administration can find some way to look at you and utilize those levers of government.
Yeah. And my goodness, it's just, it's amazing to me, Corbin, how people have been predicting the demise of linear television, or even just, network news, right, for such a long time, probably since, since I've been around, before you were born, for such a long time. But now to watch sort of the end of it, I mean, again, I don't think it is right at the end. But I think that it still has a tail. But people have been watching and predicting this. But the most amazing thing is to watch this in real time, especially under this administration. And I'm wondering if this is somehow accelerating the decline in news and the trust in corporate news.
Well, it's a weird position that they're in, right? Where you have people saying that Republicans saying that they don't trust the mainstream media, they don't trust the broadcast news because of the hard, heavy-hitting coverage that they're doing on Donald Trump. And now you have these organizations doing things to, as they put it, try and continue operating as normal in these heightened times with an administration that's eager to target news networks it does not like. And now they're losing trust amongst Democrats. So it's almost like a catch-22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And these organizations are finding it really hard to continue defending themselves and defining themselves to these people when then they make decisions like we're cutting ties with a reporter instead of just keeping him suspended, or we are settling with Donald Trump instead of fighting a lawsuit that most legal experts say are frivolous. It begs the question of how can these news organizations regain that trust with anybody if now they're making everybody angry?
Corbin Bolus from the Daily Beast. Wow. Thank you. Are you surprised by this, by the way? Probably not really.
I think ABC has been the most cautious of all the news networks. So it almost begs the question of why they didn't fire him on Sunday after the Post. So I'm not surprised. I think we're going to see incidents like this happen again should reporters speak out or express how they truly feel, even if it may be right and fair and accurate. If it clouds any level of objectivity, news organizations are likely going to dump the shark, per se, instead of taking a wait and see approach anymore.
Wow. Thank you, Corbin.
Thanks, Don. I appreciate it.
Speak to us. Thank you. If you get a scoop or something, let us know. Come back and talk to us. Corbin Bolus from the Daily Beast. Again, thank you. Oh, so that is the breaking news. Again, that was reported by Variety. And then, we have the story. Can we put the story up, please, real quick? The Variety story. And I just want to read a little bit from it, if you can, Andy, the story. Yeah, there we go. So Terry Moran is out. Man, this is really an interesting. Variety, click it. This is really an interesting time to watch the media and be in the media, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time when you need to be holding people's feet to the fire. Terry Moran is leaving ABC News just days after being suspended for posting a broadside at the Trump official Stephen Miller on the X social media platform. We're at the end of an agreement. We are at the end of our agreement with Terry Moran, and based on his recent post, which was a clear violation of ABC News policies, we have made the decision not to renew. ABC News said in a statement on Tuesday, at ABC News, we hold all of our reporters to the highest standards of objectivity, fairness, and professionalism, and we remain committed to delivering straightforward, trusted journalism. Keep going, Andy. Let's see what they say. Is that it? Oh, Moran had been one of ABC News' top national correspondents, as I've been telling you guys that. Terry Moran has been around. On early Sunday, went onto X and wrote that Miller is one of the people who conceptualizes the impulses of the Trumpiest movement and translates them into policy. Oh, man. Really unbelievable. How do you guys feel about this? Did you think what he did was that terrible? Do you think he should have been suspended? Do you think he should have been fired? You tell me what you think. By the way, as you can see, I'm not in my studio. I'm at a YouTube conference talking about our channel and the growth of our channel. I was met at the door with people saying that we are pioneers in how we are doing live, and that there are folks in the industry who are watching us and saying, wow, how did they grow that community? I'm just saying. So listen, let me know what you think in the chat, and we're going to get back to it. First of all, what I have to do here is I want to make sure that I have them in the right order. Okay. So support for today's show comes from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Look, folks are going to be sitting around telling lots of stories, talking about everything that's in the news every day. It's a barrage of things, of people who are trying to control the narrative and people who are trying to turn our country into a theocracy. Okay. That should not happen. And that is coming from where? That is coming from the Christian right. Coming from the Christian right. There are groups of people who are claiming that this nation was founded on Christianity, and that is not true. They're trying to inject their religion into classrooms, courtrooms, and even your doctor's offices. That's where the Freedom from Religion Foundation comes in. They have been defending church-state separation since 1978 in the courts, in the schools, and wherever religion tries to take the wheel. If you believe government should serve everyone and not just the religious right, make sure you join them. Make sure you join the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Go to ffrf.us/freedom or text my name, Don, to 511-511 and become a member. So join them and go to ffrf.us/freedom or text Don to 511-511, because the only story that should run this country is yours, is ours, not theirs. Text fees may apply. Support for the Don Lemon Show also comes from BetterHelp. Man, you know we need it. Well, you know we need it. We need help. You guys know. Do I have to keep telling you how I feel about the stigma, taking the stigma off of mental health and getting help and talking to people? Everyone has something going on in their lives, and the best way to deal with it is to be transparent about it and to talk to someone, okay? And that's why I believe in BetterHelp. June, by the way, is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, and keep it all together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it is often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to have issues. We all do. That's a real secret. You never know what people are dealing with, and usually everybody is dealing with something. So this is where BetterHelp can help you, all right? So you can go online. It is convenient. You don't have to do it in person, and it is also accessible and affordable. More than 5 million people worldwide have benefited from BetterHelp. 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off for their first month at betterhelp.com/donlemon. That's betterhelp.com/donlemon. Thank you to our sponsors today. Okay. So we're going to get to what's happening in California, and this is how we're going to get to what's happening in California. Okay. Here is the breaking news. And this is the breaking news from the Don Lemon Show Network that we want to tell you about. I don't have huge details, and we're still working this out, but we wanted to report it to you here, okay? First, here's what's happening. According to sources familiar with the matter, the Trump administration has sought to acquire some 2,000 costumes reflecting the evolution of the U.S. military fatigues for Saturday's military parade. Again, according to sources familiar with the matter, the Trump administration has allegedly sought to acquire some 2,000 costumes reflecting the evolution of the U.S. military fatigue, and that's for Saturday's parade. Now, we have reporting that a costume company in Los Angeles, I won't name it right now because I want to get a response from them. This costume company has agreed to fulfill that order with about 1,500 costumes. Okay, here's the breaking news. Are you listening? You won't hear this anywhere else. The administration is said to be looking for actors to participate in the parade as well. Now, here is what I am told. Now, I'm going to give you this. Okay, so my notes that I have here is that I have the costume company, the name here. What they're seeking to do is get costumes from that goes back as far as the Revolutionary War, Vietnam, up to modern day fatigues, okay? Again, the company's name, I won't give it out here, but they're saying this is a government job. They want to dress people to be in the audience and to also be in the parade. Again, allegedly, all of this allegedly, that's what we're reporting from sources, okay? 1,500 costumes from one place, 500 from another. That's about 2,000 costumes, okay? Vietnam vets, they say, and on and on. They are sending these costumes to dress these people, to go to the parade, and to be in the audience. This costume rental company was asked to ship these costumes, allegedly, via truck, 50-foot trailers. That's how they send it. And get them to transport it to DC, to be transported to DC as soon as possible to do all of the fittings, etc. And this person said, because the business is so slow in California, that there are just a few shows that are in production. And they are with, maybe Apple, maybe Fox, maybe Disney or whatever. Again, this is all allegedly, okay? And so the folks who own these costume companies are eager to do it because they don't have business. They said the business is really slow. So again, according to sources familiar with the matter, they are saying the Trump administration allegedly has sought to acquire some 2,000 costumes reflecting the evolution of the U.S. military for Saturday's parade, and that they are allegedly hiring actors to be in the audience, in the crowd, or in the audience, and to be in the parade. Now, this is just one from Los Angeles, from California. I don't know if they are doing it in other places, but one would think that the costume companies would have all of these things, and that's who they would reach out to. That's the breaking news. What do you think of that? And as soon as we get more information from this breaking news, also, we're getting information from another source that says that they spoke with an ex-union member and has admitted this to him on Sunday. So there you go. What do you guys think of that? And again, no one has reported that. And if you read it anywhere else, they were watching this show and they got it, and you need to check them. So, Peter, Can we write it up, please, what I just said for Substack, or can you guys clip it out so that we can put it out to make sure people understand where this comes from? The breaking news here. Isn't that amazing? If this source is true, again, this is all alleged from a couple of sources. If this is true, where are we? And as I have been saying, this is all a show. Why am I not surprised by this costume thing, says Lori King. If this source is correct, if these sources are correct, then that shows that tells you what everyone has been saying, that this is all a show. And that what's happened in California by sending in the military and the National Guard, that this is a pre-show to the show. A pre-show to the show. Stand by for more on the breaking news. This is what's happening out in California. Let's show you. You guys have been seeing what's going on here. Donald Trump has been warning that the military parade protesters. Trump warns that military parade protesters will face very, very heavy force if they come out to protest. He didn't say ones that were breaking the law. He didn't say ones that were hurting people. He didn't say the violent ones. He just said, if you come out and protest. Those are his words. You don't believe me? Watch.
Celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protester wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, you know, this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force. Thank you very much, everybody.
So they will be met with very heavy force. What do you think about the president of the United States saying that people cannot exercise their First Amendment rights, which is the freedom of expression? This is America. And for him to say that they will be met with very heavy force, what is he? He's giving these folks a license to what? To use excessive force and to possibly harm peaceful protesters is what is happening here. Are we living in a police state? Is this a Gestapo? All of these scare tactics? I have lived under, I shouldn't say I've lived under, I've worked under very similar tactics, and it ain't cool. Where people are afraid to even talk, like, ooh, these phones may be tapped. Who knows? He is so thin-skinned and so worried about his reputation and what people are saying about him. Most presidents would have taken what Terry Moran, well, first of all, most presidents would not be doing what Donald Trump is doing. They would not have someone like Stephen Miller being a close advisor to them, but they would take it in stride. They might have commented on it, but I doubt that they would be calling a news organization and asking them to fire someone. And if they are, it is beneath the dignity of the White House to do something like that. No, I know people who are in show business and they're that thin-skinned and work for movie studios, or they are big execs, and they have called and they will say, I can't believe that someone said this. What are you going to do? Are you going to get rid of them? Are you going to discipline them? How dare you let someone like that on your airwaves? And usually the boss will go, calm down. Are you perfect? Is everything that you do perfect? Are the movies you produce always perfect? Do you always make the right decision? Then we are human beings over here just like you are. Calm down. Would you like us to give some sort of on-air clarification or apology? What is it? But I'm not firing them because nobody's perfect. And under the pressure that people are under right now in this country, you would think like someone like Terry Moran, again, I don't know if he should have been tweeting at all. Well, I should say, I don't think everything needs to be posted or tweeted or commented on. There was one thing recently, and I'm sure the producers will remember, that I was going to write about, and I texted a couple of friends. And they said, do you need to talk about this? And I thought about it for a while. And I was like, what is the purpose of writing or talking about this? Because it doesn't really affect anything. It just riles people up. And they were right. And I didn't. But think about working in a place where you're supposed to be a journalist. And journalism is not about saying, Read, this person says this person said that, you decide. That whole re-report, you decide, that's not how it works. That's a nice little slogan, but that's not how it works. And especially, like, can we put up my friend Bob Costas? Bob Costa is a friend and an old colleague. Not as old, he was a former colleague, I should say, not an old colleague. Bob Costas, this is on Mediaite. Bob Costas condemns mainstream press for doing MAGA media. There really isn't two sides. Amen, Bob Costas. And Bob Costas has been around for a while, and just really good people, he and his wife. Now let's read through this, and you tell me if you agree with Bob Costas, because this is the reporting that's coming out. The reason, some of the reasons that we're in the state that we're in now is because of the reporting, is because of the treating it as if it's normal, as if there's two sides, as if there aren't things that aren't objectively bad. And if you're a good news leader or a person who is actually committed to to journalism, I don't want to say the art, it is an art, or the craft, then you would understand that, rather than being committed to the corporation. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Rather than being committed to the bottom line. The news should not be about the bottom line. I know people don't hear that. I know it is a business. I get it. You've got to pay for all of the folks there, but it should not be the profit generator for an entertainment or a telecommunications company or whatever it is. It should be able to pay for itself. And quite frankly, someone who owns it should be proud that they own an organization that upholds democracy, rather than that upholds a certain profit margin. Oh, y'all don't hear me, do you? Legendary sportscaster Bob Costas criticized the media over its handling of President Donald Trump's second term during an award ceremony on Monday night. Costas took several major media organizations to task at this year's Mirror Awards at New York. At the ceremony hosted by Syracuse University's Newhouse School, Costas received the Fred Dressler Leadership Award for making distinct, consistent, and unique contributions to the public understanding of the media. In a speech touching on his career in broadcasting and, keep scrolling, Andy, in broadcasting and the state of the media business through the years, Costas spoke candidly about the press in the Trump era and singled out ABC News, CBS News, and CNN. Keep scrolling. He slammed ABC News for settling a lawsuit for $15 million after the president sued the outlet for defamation stemming from comments by ABC's this week's George Stephanopoulos. Judges and two separate juries have found him liable for rape, for defaming the victim of that rape, Stephanopoulos said on the show on March 24th. A jury found Trump liable for sexually assaulting writer E. Jean Carroll, but did not find him liable for rape. Now, all they should have said was, George misspoke. The president, that paragon of virtue, was only found guilty of sexual assault, not rape. So we stand corrected. Costas said of the decision to settle, they didn't have to pay a $15 million ransom. And then he mentioned Sherry Redstone over at Paramount and the issues that's happening with CBS, you know, that they're trying to sell. They offered Donald Trump $15 million. He refused. Bill Owens, who oversaw 60 Minutes, stepped down. Okay, keep going. Let's see what else he talked about. And so now they are sort of in a standoff and business is not going. Keep scrolling, please, Andy. Okay, so keep going to the next one. Let's see, keep going, because I have not read all of this. And then Costas went on to acknowledge the media organizations make mistakes, blind spots, and misplaced narratives, though he added a caveat and took a swipe at CNN. And he said, but if the answer is to that is MAGA media, and if the answer to that is Donald Trump's view of the world, which is only through a prism of what benefits him, there are no higher ideals, there are no principles at work other than what benefits him. I'll stay with where we are without correction, in the correction, if the correction is what Donald Trump represents. And what also has happened here is that because he is the president to a certain extent, who he is and what he does and what he's done, what's done in his name has been normalized so that responsible journalists have to pretend that there's always two sides to this story. there really isn't two sides to much of what Donald Trump represents. If someone says, and the idea that you have to find somebody who will not just defend Donald Trump, but valorize it, even on CNN or wherever else, just in the same name of being balanced. Look, if someone is contending that the earth is flat in order to appear objective, you are not required to say, well, maybe it might be oblong. No, it's not. This is why I love Bob Costas. This is what I've been telling you guys all the time. Everyone has to pretend in order to be balanced and objective that you have to give a side of a story that is false and fake and a conspiracy theory. And you have to not only put someone on, as he said, to defend it, but to valorize it. And Bob knows. Thank you, Bob Costas. By the way, I texted him today, thanking him and telling him I loved him. And he said that goes right back at you. And I know what he faced at those organizations. Thank you, Bob Costas. Stand by for news. We're going to get more on our breaking news right after this. Support for the Don Lemon Show today comes from Beam, B-E-A-M. Summer's almost here. Let's be honest, that doesn't mean that you can slow down, that you can take a break. The news cycle is relentless. Every day we get served up with new outrage designed to overwhelm us and take us out of the fight. This is the right wing trying to scare us. Need I say more than just to deliver the news that I just delivered to you? Is this not what I'm saying relate to everything that I'm reading now, relate to what we have just reported? This is a tactic for the right to try to take you out of it, to try to overwhelm you, to try to make you tired. But you need to be refreshed. You need to rest, okay? That's why I turned to Beam's Dream Powder. It's a natural sleep blend designed to help you get the deep restorative rest that your body and mind need to stay in the fight. It's got science-backed ingredients, reishi, magnesium L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Dream helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up ready to organize, resist, and raise hell without the fog and without the crash. Since I started Dream, my focus has come back. My energy has returned. And by the way, I feel like I have better luck with, like, you know, people, when I worked in traditional media, they're like, Don Lemon, breaking news just follows you. People just, how do you just get breaking news? I'm like, I don't know. I just, I talk to people and they trust me and I don't give them up. But my focus has come back. My energy has returned and I'm ready to face the day, ready to stand up for the things that matter. So what I'm saying is getting a good night's rest can give you good karma. It can make you think about the right things. And when you focus and concentrate on the right things come to you. Okay? Focus on the things that you want, and getting a good night's sleep helps you to do that. So I'm not the only one. Beam's Dream Powder has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep for people across the country. Right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off their best-selling Dream Powder for my listeners. It is a limited time offer and the perfect way to overcome that exhaustion and to stay in the fight every day. So go to shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code word lemon at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code word lemon at checkout for up to 40% off. Sleep well, wake up ready, and you can fight. The fight continues. Okay, so you guys know we've got our merch store up. And I spoke to a reporter today and I told him all about you guys. And I said, you know what? I did not want to do merch. And when I built this community and this channel, the folks demanded merch and I gave them what they're demanding. You got to give the people what they want. So you're watching a show that was built on a dream. Could have been a more restful dream if I was using the Dream Powder, Beam Dream Powder. Could have been. Okay, so here, anyway, it was built on a dream and that dream has come true. Stop second guessing yourself. Stop overthinking it. Stop thinking you don't have any help. This is where Shopify comes in. Support today comes from Shopify. Shopify.com/lemon is where you can go to get all of that help. 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names to brands just getting started, that comes from Shopify. They can help. 24/7 customer service, award-winning customer service. They've got all kinds of tested and backed templates and strategies for you to be able to start your business, your social media, email, and all of that. So turn those dreams into with Shopify, okay? So turn those what ifs into why nots with Shopify by your side. Okay, so sign up for your $1 per month trial. $1 per month, you can't lose with that. $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/lemon. Go to shopify.com/lemon, shopify.com/lemon. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Okay, back to the program. Getting some information on our breaking news. Let's see if there's anything that is worth reporting. Okay. Okay, some costumes just went over that. They're fitting people as we speak. Stand by. Text me when you can.
By the way, Don, I wanted to give you a heads up that I just called that one company to see if I could get confirmation, and they said that we would have to reach out to the owners to confirm or deny the reporting.
Oakley dokley. All right, careful. We don't want to give up our source here. Okay. There we go. Again, so we're not. Peter, are you writing this up for Substack? Can you please?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So that's the breaking news. So you think that this is okay? Let me tell you guys this. Okay, listen, guys. This is why I tell you need to support independent media, because we stay here, and then the more you support us, the more resources we get to tell you the truth, and to report what's out there, rather than being worried that the boss is going to be mad that you do something wrong. Nobody's perfect. Do I think, honestly, if Terry came in here, I would say, Terry, I wish you wouldn't have tweeted that, but I stand behind you, brother. Nobody's perfect. Do you guys know what I'm saying? I would say, I wish in the climate that we're in, and what's happening at ABC News and other places, maybe you should think about that. But you have freedom of speech. And I don't think that he really defamed anyone, because defamation, Nikki, let's talk about it. Nikki has worked with defamation cases before. She's not an attorney. Are you an attorney? But she knows his work down. She knows it and has worked on it. In my opinion, people will tell you is usually not grounds for defamation. Am I wrong or no? Or slander? I don't know. You tell me.
In most cases,
you're working on stories.
Yeah, what it really comes down to is is it something that's factual? Is it something that can be proven as not factual? Of course, hyperbole does not count. Jokes don't count. And they also then, but for a public figure, it's not just about if it was factual or not. You have to prove malice, that there was an intent to spread something that wasn't factual. And you also have to prove that this hurt your reputation in some way, that there's a reason why you can't, okay, someone spread something that was wrong and hurtful. You have to prove that your reputation suffered in a way that caused monetary damages. Mm-hmm. And that's very hard to prove.
Unless it's intentional. It can happen. But as you said, it does and it can happen. And I believe that you can prove some of those things in court. But here's what I will say. The bar is very high, but that doesn't mean that you cannot reach that bar. You know what I'm saying, everyone? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a world we live in. So as I was saying, I don't know. By the way, let's just show the folks. Hey, folks, put up our site, Shopify. This is us. We dropped new merch today. We're working on, for some reason, the donlemon.com website is down. Nikki, is it still down? Or Peter, can you guys, that's a shop.
It is, but we are working on it.
Because we're trying to change it over to put the merch store on, and something weird happened. They probably think that we're up to shenanigans, and so they're worried. And so when it goes on now, it gives you a warning, but we're not trying to do that. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what's happening. We are working on it. So, anyways, so we're going to try to put it up on donlemon.com. But at the moment, the link is at the top of the chat. It should be, is it? And you can go onto our YouTube page, to our show page, and just scroll on over to shop, and there it is. And so the new stuff that dropped today, it was my very favorite saying, especially since I'm a man of a certain age now, is old people be knowing. And so I love that mug. And then I got some new bags because I wanted you guys to have some great big beach bags and stuff for the summer. And then we have the things for the doggies, and then we have the socks. Okay, so there you go. And we also have the other stuff that we have up there. So go check our site out at Shopify. I told you we do not put any sponsor anything on the show that we do not use or test or we like on ourselves. If we don't like it, we don't believe in it, we're not putting it on the show. It's not for us about making $1 gazillion. It is because we just want to be able to report to you, pay our bills, pay our employees, and be able to afford to feed our families, but we're not looking to make $1 gazillion. Okay? So there you go. There you go. I'm going to ask real quick. Okay. I hate to do that, but and look away from you. It's like turning my back to a guest, but I'm trying to get the information that you guys need. Okay, so here we go. Where are we now? So Donald Trump is threatening the military parade protesters. We showed you that. Fort Bragg is encouraging. Trump is at Fort Bragg. Trump is at Fort Bragg, and I cannot believe this. He is encouraging American troops to boo the media. This is the environment that the media is in, and this is what this man is encouraging people to do. Watch.
And for a little news for the fake news back there, the fake news. Ladies and gentlemen, look at them. Look at them all. Oh, yeah, what I have to put up with. Fake news. What I have to put up with. But they're all right. They've been very nice today. They were impressed with that display, I can tell you that. I think it took them a little by surprise, but...
He is encouraging members of the military to boo people who work in a profession that is protected under the First Amendment, and people to whom they have made a commitment to protect as well. Now, we respect our men and women in uniform, but I put this on Donald Trump. Now, I'm sure there were members of the military who did not boo, but there were some who did. And, you know, the military tends to be very pro country and all of that, and they're very pro Donald Trump. But I am shocked that he is encouraging people to do this. I'm not shocked. Hang on 1 second. So according to the sources saying that this company is claiming that the Army ordered the uniforms Civil War to Vietnam. They have most of them in DC now, fitting people. So the source is now saying that the Army, that's according to the shop, has ordered the uniforms Civil War to Vietnam. They have most of them in DC now, fitting people. Why would the Army be ordering the uniforms? The Army would be the ones who would have the uniforms. 1,500 costumes, as we've reported. Crazy. Okay, so he is encouraging members of the military to do that. Here's what Wall Street Journal has a piece about the White House deportation marching orders. Okay, can we put that up? The White House marching orders that sparked the LA migrant crackdown. So apparently, they're saying that the administration, what they did on the administration here was that they were upset that they weren't getting the numbers that they wanted. So the folks in the administration ordered them to say, just go out and start arresting illegal aliens. That was the marching orders, okay? Gavin Newsom is fighting back in court. Gavin Newsom is now suing the Trump administration over sending in members of the military, the National Guard and the Marines, as set forth in the accompanying memorandum of points and authorities, a TRO is necessary by 1 p.m. on June 10th, 2025. So there you go. He's trying to prevent the immediate, what does it say, irreparable harm to the plaintiffs. Gavin Newsom is fighting back. Gavin Newsom's team is also putting out a Star Wars Trump parody today, fighting back. Here it is.
A once great American city, Los Angeles has been invaded and occupied by illegal aliens and criminals. Now violent insurrectionist mobs are swarming and attacking our federal agents to try and stop our deportation operations. But these lawless rights only strengthen our resolve. I am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, in coordination with all other relevant departments and agencies, to take all such action necessary to liberate Los Angeles from the migrant invasion and put an end to these migrant riots. Order will be restored, the illegals will be expelled, and Los Angeles will be set free. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
So, Gavin Newsom is fighting back. Gavin Newsom is fighting back, at least. And I know that Gavin Newsom has had a little bit of, people lost a little bit of faith and confidence in him considering what happened. But yeah, so now he's fighting back. And now he's putting out that image, putting out that parody. Okay, so let's see. I don't, hang on, before we put you on, I'm sure you can hear. Do you mind having your face on, sir, before we do it? Is that okay? I can't hear. Can we put his voice on? Do we have to add him to that?
Yeah, but then his face will show up unless he turns his camera off.
Unless you turn your camera on. You're fine with it? You're fine with it? Okay, Kevin, let's put him on. So, Kevin, I'm being told that they're saying... Kevin,
his camera's off.
Okay, I'm being told that they're saying, sources are saying that it was the military who were ordering these uniforms. So why would they be ordering uniforms that they should already have?
So they're ordering uniforms right now for the military parade that span back all the way to the Revolutionary War. It's been my understanding that they're going to have soldiers dressed up from, like I said, from the Revolutionary War all the way through Vietnam, all the way to today's times. And at a cost that's going to be so astronomical that I can't even believe, between the parade and him dispatching the National Guard for $134 million here in California, he's just going for broke here, man.
Yeah. So listen, again, this is alleged, reportedly, that they are getting these uniforms. Now, they said they're sending them to Washington, D.C. We have reached out to the company. The company says that the owner would have to respond. We're also hearing from a source, though, that is saying that is the Army doing it. But then another source also says that they believe it is a Trump administration folks doing it. But still, these are uniforms that they are ordering in order to add people, one would assume, or actors or whomever, to put these uniforms on, because it is a big show nonetheless that he's trying to produce there.
Well, first of all, this isn't alleged. This is really happening. This is 100% confirmed. My people here on the ground are people that work in the studios. They work as costumers. They're peripheral to everything. They know everything going on. The owner of the company is not going to speak with you because she's a huge Trumper. So she's not going to say a word. I find it very funny that somebody would even think about doing business with Trump knowing that he doesn't pay anybody. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is, this woman is probably not going to get at least 70% of these uniforms back. And if she does, they're going to be in such, disrepair. I can't even imagine she'd ever be able to use them again.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that, Kevin? Because we don't know for sure, but why would you say that?
because they didn't hire any people to go out there initially to fit these uniforms. So that in itself is problematic, right? They're going to be marching all over these long, unaltered pant legs. Everything's going to be destroyed because if you look at the weather, it's supposed to be 87 degrees and 65% rain. It's going to rain on Trump's parade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just reading what I saw.
So, Kevin, here's the thing. I think the distinction is whether it's the Trump administration or the army. And look, it may be a distinction without a difference, but because they're all doing it for Donald Trump, about who ordered these uniforms and who exactly is producing this show.
I mean, I don't think the army does productions into parades. Last I checked, this has to be, it's all pomp and circumstance from the Trump organization. Whoever delegated it, they're getting direct orders from higher up, whether it's Hegseth or whoever else is, peripheral to this. But it's certainly not the army doing this. This is being handed down from the Trump organization.
Unless they're being ordered or told by the people in charge that this is something that they should do. Because the army would not just order this just for no reason.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. Especially when you're talking about different periods of time. We're talking about, like I said, from the 1700s all the way up to today. These are a lot of different uniforms. And I don't know. I mean, polyester and cotton, that's an advent of the 60s and 70s. I don't see where a lot of these costumes are going to be fun to wear for anybody.
But I remember the old costumes when you go into a vintage store and they're all wool. If you look at all that wool, and it's itchy and scratchy, and yeah. Kevin, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Hey, you're welcome anytime, Don. You're the hardest working man in the news.
Thank you. Did you hear about Terry Moran over at ABC?
Free Terry Moran. And while we're at it, that guy that got handcuffed last night from CNN, that other network you might have heard of last night, free him too.
Well, Terry Moran has been let go by ABC.
Oh, they let him go?
Yeah, they're not renewing his contract. They put out a statement. That was our breaking news an hour ago.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Kevin, thank you. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
So there you go. Guys, look at what you get here. Seriously, look at what you get here. It's crazy. Okay. So anyway, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, please, and subscribe. The subscription button is at the bottom right hand of your screen. And make sure you follow us and support us. We appreciate it. Welcome to all of our new members. All right. Become a member today. So thank you all so much. Please. Midas Touch gave an invitation to him to join them. Oh, that is great. That is great. Terry Moran to join them. Good for them. Okay, so thank you guys we're going to see you back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Hot Topics. I'm supposed to be at a conference. I'm sitting in the studio or in a conference room that is made into a studio. I was supposed to be there 30 minutes ago, and here I am talking to you. So I'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, thank you so much for everything. Again, welcome to all of our new members, and thank you for supporting us. You got some breaking news here today on Lemon Live at 5. Turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.